rousing adventures. And, well, let me be quite frank with you. As you watch this series, I will record these. Sometimes I record them at different points in time during my day, and then there's other times where I might actually adjust the clock so add a little bit of diversity. But I always try to record them on the same days. This right here, whoops, as I'm playing right now, let's open up the clock. 2:51 a.m. is exactly the time it is right now, and oh boy, it's been quite the long day. So let me ask you guys, what is too late for you? Basically in reference to like when you play games normally, we got a lot of younger people who play games, also a lot of older people as well who may not necessarily have a consistent work schedule. I remember when I was younger, there are many times where I, against my better judgment, would go to high school the next day after a long gaming session, and oh man, completely regret how late I stayed up. But it was what it was, and that's just where I was at. And like I wonder, like I asked you guys, I'm like, for you, what is too late for you? At what point are you just like, oh no, I can't do that much? Each person's gonna be a little bit different, and just let me know. Um, I think for me, like the longest it's ever been, like I wouldn't say that there's too many times where I was too irresponsible with it that I had stayed up all the way until the next day, but there was probably a time or two where it did happen, and oh my goodness. Thank goodness my teachers either completely understood me or had absolutely given up on me by then, but the expectation that I would be just sleeping through a class was, it was welcome, though it was admittedly kind of sad that that was kind of the thing. But where we're at on today's playthrough, basically, like I said before, on the in-between days, I will hop on, and at the very least, I will water our crops, and I will get our Nook Mile tickets. I did not check it out yesterday, and I can't really check it out today because they're closed, but our Able Sisters is now up and going. So unfortunately, they won't be a part of our little late night episode we got going on right now, but we definitely have that. So if you're checking the calendar, seeing where we're at with things, then you can say that today's the day that we came across our Able Sisters. So we're good with that one. But let me tell you, how much time changes overall. It's like the idea is like staying up when you're a lot younger. Gonna sound like an old fart for a moment, but bear with me. When you're younger, the whole like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna stay up like super late. It's like it almost feels like it's second nature. Like there's some sort of primal instinct in young folk to want to be up late, and it doesn't really matter like what demographic they fall into either. Like if they're like an introvert, they're probably staying at home playing video games up until like 4, 5, 6 in the morning. But then like the ones who are much more extroverted, the ones who like to go out and party and do all that stuff, they're the kind of people who be at the clubs. They go up to the clubs or the bars or whatnot until like what until in Texas it would be, I think it's 2 o'clock is when they stop serving alcohol, and then they'd probably be like after that, they usually are trying to look for like some sort of like after party type thing, like not like an actual party, but sometimes it is a party, but like maybe like going to find a place to hang out, like a Denny's or something like that. And mind you, it's just it can be a little crazy. Like it used to be my lifestyle though. The whole idea of staying up super late and like my whole day was like that. Like I had a job at Walmart for a time where my schedule was, I believe it was like 4 p.m. to 1 in the morning when the overnight guys would show up. And that, as well as I had a job at a gas station where I was working there from, it was just like a similar thing. It was like, depending on the day, it was like 2, 3, 4 o'clock all the way until midnight or 1 o'clock if it was a Saturday, because we could sell a little bit later than that. And you just got so used to it, and all the things I did were just kind of like at night. Like I got go home, hop on the computer, and just be on that until the sun rose, and it was like, okay, cool. Now it's time for me to go to bed. It's because I got to get my sleep. Like it was a lot easier with some of these jobs to do that, because it was like, oh, I'm gonna go to bed now because I know that I'll at least get like if it's 6 in the morning, the sun's rising. If I go to bed then, I'll wake up probably around sometime afternoon and have a good chunk of sleep versus because like last thing I ever want to do is like be tired. I hate that feeling of being exhausted because I stayed up like way too late. But there was more than a few nights where it just kind of happened. But for the most part, I try to be more or less responsible in that regard, mainly just because like how it feels. It's never been because I'm smarter than that, outside of the fact that I know it's gonna be miserable the next day. But you know, each person has their own way of dealing with these things. But I asked you guys, I haven't had the set up question of the day type thing or the talking topic, but feel free, drop in the comment section, if you will. What is too late for you? Like, let me know. Are you a good boy or girl who decides that around like 9 or 10, that's when I should be going to bed. That way I can optimize how much sleep I get. Because like, you go to sleep like by 10 o'clock. That was my bedtime when I was a little kid. Like maybe not a little kid, but like when I was like more towards like my middle school years, it was you go to bed around 10 o'clock. I'd be in bed. Um, I'd have The Simpsons and then Seinfeld and then Frasier on my TV. I'd be out by midnight most likely. Sometimes I would have a hard time sleeping. For the most part, I usually did not get to the episodes of Frasier. I'd be in bed by 10 and asleep by 11, and that was just kind of like what my night looked like. But also, I've also spent a lot of my young adult life being a bit of a night owl too, having plenty of nights where I've stayed up super late, especially back when I played what's that game, Magic the Gathering. Once every 3 months, they'd have a new set that would release, and they do it like a midnight thing. Like basically, it was like they do. It was like the midnight release on Friday. They would have their weekly tournament. Win, lose, or draw doesn't matter, because what you do afterwards is they would have it was called a pre-release, where basically everybody got little sets, like they got packs of cards. The most consistent one that I remembered was just like you get like this bundle and have like 5 booster packs with it, and then you'd also have like a special pack that was like it was like your pre-release pack, and inside of it would be like they had like different versions of it, but like oftentimes what it would have would be like a special pre-release version of a card. Like it might be like date stamp or something like that, and its whole purpose was like to like remember the day. This is the card that you got. It may be good, may not be good, but it's just your souvenir for the event. And so these tournaments would go anywhere from like 4 to 6 hours. They would supply pizza and whatnot, and it was like it's like a weird little nerdy get together, like in the best possible way. And there's plenty of times where like I show up for the Friday night tournament, like the weekly tournament. It's sun's starting to set. It's like 7 o'clock is the start time. You got like four, on average, about 4 rounds, and then pools. And then we have like elimination, and once you get past past the pools, you get to elimination. It's like 3 more rounds of it, and that was pretty much what it was like, and that would pretty much last until midnight. And then what you get after that would be the pre-release would come out. So you played for 4 hours already, and then you have like another 4 hours of gameplay to look forward to, and they could be pretty long nights that you could have. And there's plenty of times where but like I said, like it goes on for like 5 hours. it's 6 in the morning probably by the time you're ready to leave, and sun's rising finally. Man, you're thinking, shoot, if I had work that day too, I'm like, yeah, I gotta go home, hit the hay. Good news is, pretty much every single time I went to these tournaments, I had a really crappy outing. I wouldn't say that I was necessarily bad at. I definitely would say that I was not the best player at pre-release tournaments, but um, I also never really got great cards out of it. So because I had bad showings and bad poolings, I could go home and sleep like a rock because I had nothing to be excited about other than the sleep. And nowadays, I'm like, just I might be able to do it every now and then, but the idea of there's ever a time where I could just consistently stay up super late, it's like not on the docket so much. And I think it's mostly just like one of the big issues for me is like I probably can stay up super late, but it's ill advised because I'm accustomed to waking up. I wouldn't say it's super early. I'd say it's a reasonable time, but compared to what time a lot of people um, I know might wake up, it's definitely like feels like it might be quote super early. Like I wake up plenty of times and like the whole world's still asleep, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I mean, and I just can't help it. It's a combination of I'm just kind of used to it, as well as my dogs are used to it as well. So like even if I were to try to sleep in, from like 8 or 9 o'clock, somewhere around there, my dogs will start whining. Well, it's just one specific dog. I got 3 dogs, but one specific. She's a bit of a prima donna. She's going to be the one who's going to start whining. And when it comes to responsibilities, I'm a really light sleeper, and by that I mean it's my job to feed them, take them out, do all these things. That's comes with being a dog owner. So the moment she starts whimpering and whatnot, it's like a horror movie villain waking up from their slumber. I was like, just like that scene where they show them unconscious, like in the water or something like that, and all of a sudden like you hear the whining, and then just like the eye suddenly just jolts open, and it's like dun dun dun. That's kind of how I feel pretty much every morning when she starts up, and it's my fault. I've allowed her to be like that. Hello, Able Sisters, we do have you. We'll definitely take a look at what they have available. Probably during tomorrow's stream. That'll be fun. Get some new clothes. I mean, we don't look terrible, right? But we could look better, so we'll get something with that. But our special guest today, I'll have to get my phone out and double check what they have for sale or to verify their artwork. But we have Crazy Red again. I feel like this is like it. This is the third time that we've had Crazy Red, but I feel like, and this is just me, but I feel like um, it just feels like it's been less than 3 weeks, but it's actually been like 3 weeks since we started the playthrough. So it's not like it's weird that we've had them 3 times. It's perfectly normal. It just feels like it's a bunch because it doesn't feel like it's been 3 weeks for me so far. I feel like we've been at it for like a couple weeks really. But so well, that's cool. That's good news, right? That just means that we're coming along. Things going great, and really enjoying the whole process. And I like it. I hope you guys are enjoying it. I don't know if I can hang this off this cliff, can I? I cannot hang it off this cliff. Wow, that stinks. So I definitely need the ladder. Oh my goodness, that stinks. Who'da thunk? So we'll go grab our ladder real quick, so we can go actually talk to Red. Fortunately, he's as much a night owl as I am. Cool thing about late nights, we haven't come across him just yet, and we just basically just ran the entire island, so he's probably not out right now. But there's a phenomena. There's a character named what's his name? Wisp. He shows up around. He's a ghost, most definitely, and he's been a fixture ever since the very first Animal Crossing game. And mind you, when the first game came out, he was a hard person to find, namely because who was telling you that if you play the game between certain hours, that there would be literally a ghost that you could befriend. And what he's done in that time has varied based off of what the games do. In fact, they varied so much that he's pretty kind of consistent, but kind of not. I can't tell you what he's done in the middle games, but um, for the most part, it's always been the idea of find the spirits for him. The very first game, I don't believe he exploded. It was just you just gotta find him and like help them pass. But like in the newer in this game right here, it's actually parts of himself that pop off. So that's always an interesting thing. Like I said, we haven't found him yet. On this game, my personal preference typically is to ask for what's it called? Oh man, that's some cool stuff. I usually like to ask him for things that I don't have because I just rather have like a bunch of cool new stuff. Let's look this up real quick. I want a closer look. I think he said it was a mysterious painting. Animal Crossing New Horizons. Mysterious painting. Real versus fake. And the answer is there is never a fake version of this piece of art. So it's a safe purchase. Sold, sold, and sold. And I also want these as well, these little art sets. And the tea set. They're cute little things. They shouldn't cost too much, so we'll get those. But he was a lot harder in the very first game. Wisp, not Red. Red was interesting. Okay, so let me explain to you how you would find Red in the original game and how you interact with Wisp. Wisp was very difficult in the original game because unless you were a night owl in 2005, you were probably not going to come across Wisp on a regular basis. I believe he was one night a week, which I think in the current game he actually is multiple nights. I think it can be like any night, but I think back then it was one night a week. So you had to actually go and find him, and he made it. It was a little bit difficult at times, but you if you did find him, he was pretty easy to get. But because it was in the pre-internet era, I'm not saying that there was no internet, but there wasn't like a strong, consistent internet that was being used. It was a whole different breed of animal, and so unless you were like looking like how I found out about Wisp was there's a magazine. I can't remember what it was called. I want to say Game Informer. It might have been something else, but basically that magazine had like all the different stuff, like cheat codes and whatnot that you could use in different games, and it also had an article about Animal Crossing, how to find Wisp. Another one that I got was one on how to get the golden axe, which, mind you, oh, goodness gracious, you probably weren't going to find that one very easily either. And if you didn't have these magazines, you're probably not going to have a very easy time finding these characters and whatnot. So it was definitely a very different process back then compared to how it is now. And it was a pain in the butt. Now, Crazy Red back then, he was actually arguably easier to find. Basically, there's two characters who aren't in Animal Crossing currently. Their names are Copper and Booker. They were two dogs. Copper loves his job, Booker not so much. They run the Lost and Found, which replaced this thing right here, the, well, Lost and Found, the recycle bin. And what you do is you'd go there, and they'd have all the items like on display, and basically you could claim them as your own. Which, mind you, I was a good boy when I first started playing. So when I'd see these things, I did not understand that they were free for anybody to take. Like it was like I thought like it was like a legitimate like lost and found, and I would feel bad if I took whatever the item was in case the actual owner came back. But then you find out like later on that like, oh, okay, no, it was literally just a place to take all the items, and there's nothing new about that. And I was like, okay, that's okay, cool. Um, but Booker, he was the one on the inside who actually ran the Lost and Found. Copper, what he did was he would inform you of strange happenings going on around the town. And so you didn't have Isabel who would tell you that they showed up that day. No, you would have to go talk to Copper, who I think he could tell you up to 3 days in advance when somebody was coming. I think what he would tell you is he'd tell you whoever the next person was coming and how soon they should be coming. So like you have to go talk to him every single day, and then be on the lookout for whomever it was that he was referring to. And that's how you knew about Katrina. That's how you knew about Sahara. That's how you knew about Wendell. You don't know about Wendell, but basically Sahara currently compresses the roles of Wendell in the old Sahara. Wendell used to do wallpaper, but you had to give him a fish. Sahara was just a simpler version of what she does now, but you have to look out for that. There's Gracie, who would give you rare clothes. I never got clothes from her because her mini game was too difficult for teenage me. And the one in question today was Crazy Red. You would be especially wary of him, let you know about that guy, keep your eyes out for him. And yeah, that's how you would get to know about Red back then. Um, with his little black market. I can't remember exactly what he sold. I don't remember if he sold artwork or if he sold something else, but that was pretty much it. But it was different times. I was a lot younger. I was a lot more capable of staying up super late. But times change, and as long as stay positive about it and put your best foot forward, they'll always change for the better. And I'd say that life right now in the year 2025 is considerably better than it was in 2005. I was gonna say 2005. I mean, I don't be technically correct by that, but it's just been a series of decisions. I'd say many bad, but I'd say that the good ones far outweighed them, and really most recently, all the best decisions really kind of came through, and I just thank God every single day that I was even given these opportunities. So that's just kind of the vibe with that one. But in the meantime, like I said, it's a late one. I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow during the stream. It should be pretty much a-okay. I don't have any work to my knowledge planned. Yeah, I don't have anything planned, so it should be a pretty good day. Look forward to seeing you guys then. In the meantime, you guys take care of yourself. Stay blessed. Remember that life cycles are a lot like day cycles. Yeah, we're gonna go through some dark moments, but in between those dark moments are always gonna be the light moments. So as long as you stick around long enough, the night eventually passes, and it'll be a brand new day and a new opportunity to make a bigger difference in the world. But in the meantime, you guys stay strong. Love you guys. God bless, and I will see you very, very soon.